Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Being the Marshmallow, Living and Coping with PTSD. I am, as always, Bob Wagner. And this week I want to continue our previous conversation about, insomnia and sleep disorders. As I mentioned last week, sleep disruption is a very, very common part of mental illness, particularly with PTSD, because it's kind of an anxiety-related disorder. We have a very hard time getting to sleep at all, and once we once we do get to sleep, we have a very difficult time staying asleep because our brain simply won't switch off, and it's always running at this high to mid level of alert, or always anticipating something bad to happen. Okay? And so it's actually normal if you have PTSD or other serious mental illnesses, particularly those that are anxiety-related or trauma-related, to have various sleep disruptions. Now, last week I kind of talked about what insomnia was and wasn't. This week I want to talk about what we can do about it. And the first thing that you want to do is, if you find yourself having insomnia or nightmares, you want to start looking at your routine before bed. Okay? Do you watch scary movies before bed? Do you play a lot of video games before bed? Do you consume a lot of caffeine before bed? I myself have had to say yes to all three at various times that I've asked that question, and I have had to change that. Now, personally, as you've seen in the past, I have a pretty savage caffeine addiction. I'm a big Pepsi drinker. I also play a lot of video games. I spend a lot of time on World of Tanks, and I also like zombie-themed survival horror games. Now, soda and video games are both a lot of fun, okay? There's a reason why they're both such multi-million-dollar industries. They're a great time in their proper place. That place is not before bed, all right? If you have to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning for work, the proper time to have your last caffeinated beverage is probably not 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Same thing with turning on the Xbox and playing the latest survival horror game, or popping onto your World of Tanks server and blowing some stuff up because, oh yeah, it'll just be for 15 minutes. Yeah, fine, assuming you can actually master that level of personal discipline. I know I can't. It is going to, sorry, the camera slipped there. It's still going to generate a measure of adrenaline, and that is not going to be conducive to a good night's sleep. Same thing with working out. Now, personally, I try to work out every day when I wake up, 5 days a week. That's great. First thing in the morning, gets the blood going, it gets you awake. What it does not do is help you rest. So you may think, well, yeah, you know what, I'm tired, I'll do a bunch of push-ups, a bunch of sit-ups, I'll get on the treadmill, and I'll wear myself out. No, because the body associates physical exertion with combat, okay? We are evolved to exert ourselves primarily in a survival situation. If we are doing explosive outbursts of energy, our body is wired to assume that something is about to eat us, or that we need to get away from something. And so it fills us with adrenaline to make this easier. So, great first thing in the morning, hop on the rowing machine, hop on the treadmill, put in your 15 minutes. It's good to be healthy. Before bed, not so much, because again, adrenaline, and adrenaline is not our friend when we're trying to sleep. So, examine your habits and maybe set a moratorium on, on caffeine or adrenaline-producing activities, say an hour before bedtime. All right, I wish I could take my own advice, and I'm actually trying to get much better at it because, well, I'm really getting sick of waking up exhausted every day. That will help, but it is not a cure-all. And it is a habit, okay? You have to get in the habit of it. It takes discipline. You don't let yourself have a caffeinated beverage the last hour before bed. You don't let yourself play exciting video games the last hour before bed. That's going to keep you up, and that's going to contribute to an already existing problem, and we don't want that. So that is behavior. And, get a notebook and make a list and say, well, hey, this is what I do before bed, and ask yourself, what activities generate adrenaline on this list? See about cutting them out before bedtime. That's one thing. The other thing you want to do is examine your sleeping environment, okay? There are certain things that you want to eliminate entirely from your bedroom. Electronic devices of, I want to say every kind, but the alarm clock is technically an electronic device. But no entertainment devices. Leave your tablet out in the living room. Don't install a TV in the living room. In the bedroom. Don't bring your laptop into the bedroom. If you don't have a pressing work-related need, like say you're a doctor or a police officer or some other job where you're on call and you have to be awake at the drop of a hat or somebody's going to die, leave it out there. Put it on its charger. Leave it out in the living room. Leave it somewhere not where you can be tempted to check your Facebook status or your Tumblr or your Reddit or whatever, okay? Because that is something else that's going to distract you from your sleep. And plus, those things generate light, and light is not conducive to rest, okay? Our body generates chemicals which wake us up when they are exposed to certain frequencies of light. This is a medical fact. Speaking of light, you want to take a look at what the ambient lighting conditions are in your bedroom. Personally, what I have done is I've just basically blacked out my bedroom. I have a 3-foot wide by 6-foot piece, of blackout cloth. And I have put that up over my bedroom window. And between that and the door, I am able to have a very nice dark environment, which, as I just explained, that is what our bodies evolved for. Okay? Sunlight, obviously, by definition, produces certain frequencies of light. Those frequencies of light cause our body, without any control on our part, to generate certain hormones and chemicals which cause us to wake up, because we are daytime creatures. We're not nocturnal like our friend the bat. All right? And you don't have to go and spend a lot of money or be particularly handy. I am the least crafty person you're ever going to see, okay? Trust me on this. And all you have to do is go to your local Joann fabric store or your local other fabric place, wherever you happen to live, and find one of the nice people there and say, I need some blackout cloth, okay? Very specifically use the words blackout cloth. Do not get Venetian blinds. Do not get shades. Get blackout cloth. If you want to get like the roller kind of shades, expressly look for the blackout kind. The reason for this is that those are thicker, and they are engineered very expressly to block more light than the general run-of-the-mill window coverings. And if you just want to go and do like I did and get just like a swath, a couple of yards of blackout cloth, you don't really have to be particularly skilled at hanging curtains or anything. Personally, what I did, I got this thing, I grabbed some thumbtacks from the hardware store, put it up there, and it works just fine. And when I need light in the bedroom, I just simply take a piece of curtain cord, tie it around there, and I'm good to go. All right, cost you maybe $10. It'll really help with your sleep. Another thing you want to look at is, oopsie, there the camera goes again. Another thing you want to look at is the door. It is very important for you to have a secure sleeping environment when you have sleep disruptions, all right? You want to, particularly for people who have PTSD or general anxiety, we typically have them because at some point we were made to feel ill at ease and not safe. So make sure that you have a good door. I recommend a solid core door, not these hollow core garbage ones that you get for like $20 at Menards or whatever. Get a good solid core door if you can. But barring that, just something that can reliably close and block out the noise and block out the light. That will aid in your overall sense of security, which will reduce your subconscious anxiety as well as your conscious anxiety, and that will make it easier for your body to switch off. Once you are in bed, don't engage in a lot of side stuff, okay? Don't read in bed. If you have a partner, don't engage in a lot of conversation. There's one thing you're more than welcome to do in bed, and I think you know what it is, but if you're using your mouth to talk, you're using it for the wrong thing, okay? And that will absolutely wear you both out if you do it correctly. Other than that, the bedroom really should be for sleeping. And once you're in bed, get yourself comfortable and do some deep breathing exercises, just like this. We've talked about this in past videos. What you want to do is breathe in, hold it for about a 5 count, breathe out, hold it out for about a 5 count. Slow your breathing. Slowing your breathing slows your heart rate. Slowing your heart rate slows the production of adrenaline and other combat-based biochemicals that we normally associate with an emergency response. Okay? By slowing your breathing, you get relaxed. By getting relaxed, you have an easier time dropping off. And for goodness sake, try to set, if not a specific hard, fast bedtime, because I know a lot of us work flexible schedules. I'm retail, and, I might be getting off of work at 5 o'clock on Monday and 10 o'clock at night on Wednesday. Okay, in fact, I think that's my schedule this week. But as much as possible, try to block out 7 to 8 hours between the time you have to be awake and the time that you get to bed, okay? Because this will enable you to take the necessary time to wind down and feel relaxed and feel comfortable and not feel pressured like, oh gosh, I gotta get to sleep, because then, ironically enough, you're suffering anxiety about being relaxed. I'm not relaxed enough! And then you're all worried, and then what happens? Your sleep goes to poop. And we don't want that. We want to be nice and relaxed. We want to get a good night's sleep so that wench, the insomnia fairy, keeps her bloody distance. And that is, one other thing. A lot of times when I personally have a hard time sleeping, like I'll wake up thinking, oh my God, I didn't lock the doors or the windows. Again, this relates to the PTSD and relates to the sense of anxiety and lack of safety that those of us afflicted typically feel, okay? Another good thing to do is just get in the habit before bed, like maybe the last thing you do before you brush your teeth, go around, check the windows and doors, make sure everything is locked, make sure all the lights are off. Don't be OCD about it. Don't go, oh, I got to check the front door lock 5 times. No, just check the front door. Okay, cool, the front door is secure. Same with the windows, we're good to go. No reason to feel unsafe. Go to bed, lay down, leave the entertainment devices out of the bedroom. Say whatever you got to say to your partner about life's general stuff before you lay down and go to sleep. None of this, oh, hey, one more thing. No. Once you are in the horizontal position, there should only be one kind of conversation you're having, and there's really not a lot of verbal back and forth that should be going on with that particular, shall we say, intercourse. And on that note, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. If you like what you're seeing, once again, by all means, subscribe, post a comment, maybe make a suggestion. And I will see you next week with a couple of tips on things that our partners can do to help us get a good night's sleep, besides the one I've already kind of very directly hinted at, without actually crossing the PG-13 line. And also talk about a few ways to cope when we suffer sleep disruptions, like, wakefulness in the middle of the night where we're asleep and all of a sudden, bang, we wake up, or we have nightmares. There's ways to deal with those too. But I'm going to wrap this up for now. You guys have a great rest of your week, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.